dehydration and early death in babies because of diarrhea and dysentery and malaria and things like that. And so the statistical evidence is there and we know it. Now, what is the reason for these statistical results? Once again, that the money is in the hands of the developed countries and they are interested in viewing health from the viewpoint of the rich. And the ones who are really dying are in the poor countries who have no money, and therefore they have literally very little incentive or ability to devote attention to primary health problems. But this being said, there are 2 or 3 other factors that have to be kept into account also. The first, and we don't note this easily, is the factor of migration. Migration, as you know, is a fundamental force. All of us are migrants from Africa, as I have said on a number of occasions. In other words, we move. And as we move, we become a determinant of health because we become what is called in scientific terms a vector for disease. You move, your disease moves with you. Now this vector is known. It's known, for example, that in the whole of the Americas, before the arrival of the Spaniards in Latin America, for example, you had no health problems of any great significance. And then the Spaniards arrived, and with them came the diseases of Europe, and it literally wiped out the indigenous populations of Central and South America. And so the vector of disease is historically important. And even today, we know, for example, that if you watch India, India is going through a problem of the spread of AIDS. India today has about 7 million people suffering from AIDS. And we have established maps as to where is that AIDS in India. And if you find that map, it consists of pockets of AIDS. There are vast portions of the country that have never seen, heard of, or suffered from AIDS. And then you have a line of pockets where AIDS is prevalent. And this line coincides with the line of the trucking routes from the ports inland. In other words, the truckers, who are people who are fond of late night stands and one night stands en route, are becoming vectors for the spread of AIDS as they move with their trucks and with transporting goods from ports into recipient towns. Now this is the question of the vector, and the vector is important. As I said, the truckers are a major vector in all countries, but in addition, we now find that air travelers are also beginning to become vectors, and you've heard of the cases in which recently somebody who had tuberculosis was allowed to travel on an aircraft from Europe into the United States, and he carried with him the vector of tuberculosis, which is a disease which is almost non-prevalent anywhere in the world, certainly in the developed countries. And so vectors are important, and that is migration routes. The next factor that you have to note is the role of disasters, both natural disasters and man-made disasters. Natural disasters hit, and when they hit, populations get displaced or get concentrated into camps. You know what happened after Katrina, for example, in the United States. But in addition, you have other disasters that have taken place, the tsunami, etc. You come into a disaster, populations have to be concentrated in a camp. And when you are in a camp, you are an easy recipient of germs and disease. And so we know that when people are in camps, you have to be particularly careful of disease, particularly waterborne diseases, typhoid, cholera, etc. And then you have man-made disasters. Man-made disasters are of the type which occurred in Chernobyl, for example, in Ukraine, where a radiation cloud came in and it immediately affected the health of a large population, not just in Ukraine, because the radiation cloud went up and then went around the world. And so all of us were affected in some way by doses of radiation out of Chernobyl. You have another one which is normally referred to as Bhopal. This is a town in India where a company called Union Carbide had built a chemical plant, and they had built it badly. And the result was that there were inadequate safeguards in the plant, and one day chemicals leaked out of that plant and spread around the plant, and about 3,000 people were literally killed within hours. It was like an atomic bomb. And the overall number of people affected was 10,000 because of poor planning by Union Carbide in an Indian city. And this case is going on till today, even though it is more than 10 years old, to see what is the depth of the responsibility of a company for not carrying out adequate safeguards and creating, therefore, a man-made health disaster. So these are two other factors which have come in. Now, to sum up then, health makes a vital contribution to the economic and social aspects of a country. Because if you are healthy, you have work potential. If you are unhealthy, your output is inevitably poor. And in fact, you may become a burden on the state rather than a contributor to the state. And that is why at the United Nations, we have, for the past 8 or 9 years, concentrated so much on health. And that concentration, and remember, the United Nations is not an independent organization. It is you and me, all of us sitting together in order to consider priorities. And those priorities are the result of a general discussion among all the populations of the world, represented by their leaders, coming together at the Millennium Summit in the year 2000, and at which the net result of that consideration was what are called the Millennium Development Goals. How do I work this? There. And you should check them out because they are available on the internet very easily. They are 8 goals. And if you look at the 8 goals, you will find that almost all of them relate to health. Goal number 1 talks about eradicating extreme poverty. And you've understood that poverty is related to health. Goal number 2 says universal primary education. And I will talk to you a bit more about education and how education relates to health. Goal number 3 is gender equality and women. Remember, women are mothers, and a lot of the health of the world depends on how well they understand or do not understand the problem of health. Goal number 4 is reducing child mortality, totally connected with health. Goal number 5 is increasing maternal health, totally connected with health. Goal number 6 is HIV, malaria and other diseases, totally connected with health. Goal number 7, environmental sustainability, and that means including potable piped water, for example, and therefore connected to health. And finally, goal number 8 is about finding the correct amount of money to take care of the problems of health. Now, I do want to show you 2 other charts because they are interesting. This is a chart on the relationship or the gap between the rich and the poor, both inside countries and between countries. Now, the red column, which is here, which is on the here, that is sub-Saharan Africa. 50% of the problem of health in the world is in sub-Saharan Africa. The exact figure